Let's get in Ambareesh Baliga, Sarvendra, Srivastava as well. They're joining in along with Dipesh, Mehta of Nirmal Bang. All three of you all, thank you very much for joining in. Ambareesh, let's start off with you. You've got a big weekend coming up, and obviously ahead of that, you don't want to go into with heavy positions.
I think that's the way the market is going to be looking at it, because I mean, whatever news flows will happen over this weekend, the next 2 or 3 days, can really push the markets either up to 5,300, 5,400, or you could possibly have a breakdown from here and we could see markets closer to that earlier support level of 4750, 4800. Because especially the political equations, we don't know as to what sort of a shape it will take. You've just been discussing about possibility of a midterm poll. You have the Greece issue, which hopefully should get sorted out over the next 2-3 days. And more importantly, domestically, the RBI midterm review. I mean, again, the market has been clearly discounting the fact that it will be a 25 basis points cut. We'll have a CRR cut possibly of 50 basis points. Again, in the last 3-4 days, the expectation of the repo rate has moved up from 25 to 50. So in case there's a disappointment there, again, you could see a correction of possibly 100, 150 points. So at this point of time, I think we are clearly in a no man's zone. So the market going today beyond 5100, I feel it's going to be difficult.
Ambareesh, you were making a point earlier on, and we have pre-open then.
Yeah, I mean, basically the point I was making was that for the day, I think it's going to be a very narrow band, like no man's zone, because nobody would like to take a position today. But then with the sort of news flows which could happen over the next couple of days, we could move majorly either ways. For example, if the political issue is sorted out, Pranab Mukherjee is the candidate, consensus candidate, TMC is sidelined, and if they are out of UPA, I think that would be taken very positively by the markets, because clearly TMC was seen as a major irritant and roadblock for reforms. So that would be a very positive development in case it happens. If the Greece issue is sorted out, and at the same time you have RBI coming out with a decent cut both in repo as well as CRR, clearly there is no stopping the markets after that, because you'll clearly see a major move taking it to 5,300, 5,400. Because again, if you see the last couple of, if you see the last 1 month, clearly there was a very good support at that 4750, 4800 levels, and people are just waiting for some sort of positive news. I mean, you had those two, decent sound bites from the PM as well as the Deputy Governor, and you saw that move from 4800 to closer to 5100. Yeah. So basically the market is discounting any sort of adverse news, looking at the silver lining in whatever comes out. And just, I think clearly now we are just waiting for that positive news to, flow, and the markets to shoot up from here.
All right. We're all hoping for that, Ambareesh. Dipesh, come to you. The Bank Nifty is what you're watching out for. You expect a big run up in the index. 10,250 is where you're expecting it to breach. And other than that, anything else in terms of specific stocks?
Devina, if you see yesterday trade of Bank Nifty, it closed at around 9834 in futures. But one thing that was to be noticed is the open interest, which actually did not see addition, whereas we saw deletion in shares. So one can easily assume that there was profit booking which just came down in banking sector stocks, which just because of the events lined up next week from Sunday. So I think today we might see a little bit up move on banking stocks. My top pick especially would be SBI. I think SBI and Bank Nifty would easily gain a momentum and go up around 150, 200 points on intraday basis also. And if we see a rate cut high, we may also see levels of 10,250, 10,300 on Bank Nifty.
All right. So on the index, on the Nifty, Dipesh, what kind of strategy are you recommending?
Same thing. If you see on Bank Nifty, where we saw a long profit booking happening, same thing we saw in Nifty. But one thing to be noticed in Nifty, that we didn't see any change in the cost of carry also. So I think what happened yesterday was mere profit booking, and we did not see any in the money call writing also happening in Nifty. So today for momentum play, I would recommend people to go bet long positions on it. Wait for targets of 5200, 5240 on the upside, with a strict stop loss of 5011 on the downside.
Ambareesh, any stocks right now? Banks, autos, any sector, cap goods, infra?
See, we have been positive on capital goods, infra, banking to a certain extent before the sort of a run-up which we saw in the last couple of days. At the same time, we are still negative on realty. We are still quite cautious on autos because we still feel that the numbers may be tepid at least for the next 2 or 3 months. And like I said, at this point of time, I'm just waiting for either a breakout or a breakdown. In case there's a breakdown closer to 4800 levels, I'll again start buying. In case the news flows is positive, possibly Monday, Tuesday, whether the market is at 5300 or wherever it is, again at those levels I'll start buying.
All right. Sarvendra, aside of the stocks that we spoke about in the morning on pre-open, anything that's striking your eye? JP Associates, you said, was a sell call, the risk reward right now, but it looks like it's going to come back to those 69 levels. So then it becomes more favorable if it opens there to go and short it?
Absolutely, the risk rewards then probably would be better off if I get a opening trade. And the weekly close also very important now. So let's see how it closes the week. As of yesterday's bar, we still have a negative weekly close. So today's whole session is left. So somewhere around 68.50, 68.60 is where we closed for the last week. We'll want to watch out as to how it closes. But more or less, as I said, here the setups look inverted. 74.75 is a very strict resistance area. As long as it is not getting crossed, the medium to longer term setups continue to remain negative on this one. Short term, you might have a couple of whipsaws, but as I said, 74.75 clearly a medium to long term hurdle as far as JP Associates is concerned.
Ambareesh, going into the weekend, you said, the chances, and hearing you, I got the sense you were thinking that, the way events will pan out, based on your expectations, they'll be positive, and the market then sort of, breaks out, right?
I don't know whether it will be positive or negative because, it's very difficult to judge or
I got
at
the
this
sense
point of time.
okay.
But what I'm saying is, in case it pans out positively, then there is nothing to hold back the markets at these levels. You'll see a major breakout from here, and we could see the markets closer to about 5300, 5400. But if some of these events turn out negative, for example, if a possibility of a midterm poll becomes a reality, we have the Greece issue going out of hand, and in case the RBI doesn't
it's a binary kind of an outcome, right? There's only one way to go in that sense, in the near term.
Yeah, absolutely.
But give it a week, 2 weeks or so, even if, everything goes okay in Greece, I just think that in a week's time, everybody will just focus on and say that, the situation is exactly what it is. Greece remains in the Eurozone.
That's true, but then at the same time, we also need to see beyond Greece.
Yeah.
Next day you have the RBI policy.
That's a fair point. If Greece goes out, almost immediately people start focusing on other countries, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Rajiv Mittal, Managing Director at Way2Wealth Brokers, is joining in right now. They won an order from Reliance. So thanks very much, Mr. Mittal. Could you talk about the order that you've got?
Please do that.
Go on, sir.
This is an order we received yesterday from Reliance Industries for setting up a effluent treatment plant and a recycle of this wastewater for their plant they are coming up in Dahej, Gujarat. And total aggregate value of this order is approximately 270 crores. It's the first time we are going to use anaerobic sludge blanket reactor to produce biogas. And also the treated wastewater will be reused back in the complex as a processed water.
Got that. Congratulations, sir. We'll get back on a detailed chat right now. Just, markets are opening, so we'll zoom back, sort of focus back on that. Appreciate you joining in with those quick comments. 270 odd crores is the order for Way2Wealth Brokers. That's 445 stocks, up about 2.33%. Not that old in terms of listing. And it's done quite well for itself. 5096 on the Nifty, so it's moved up a little bit. 41, 42 odd points on the index. Sarvendra, first thoughts opening?
Yeah, Prashant, on expected lines with the kind of cues that we were getting in the morning. But as I said, over the last 2 odd sessions, you've had your weighted average very close to the 5100, 5110 mark, if you look at that. So I think that area for today's intraday trading, I think 5110 to 5120 kinds, that would be an area where people who have traded in the last 2 days are definitely, some of them are stuck there with long positions as well. So, and going into this weekend, which is event centric, I would definitely assume that towards the later half of this day, if at all we maintain these levels, there would definitely be some amount of selling there. People would try and prune positions. So pressure would definitely remain here. And how we close the week, 5040, 5050 remains very important, because if you close below 5040 on a weekly basis, then you are falling back within the 18-month trend channel that we are whipsawing currently. So that could be a serious dent as far as the bulls are concerned. And mind you, the entire 15-week trend channel, the smaller one that we are trading around 250 odd point, we have already failed on that breakout as of yesterday. We did multiple attempts to break out of that range, could not, and we have failed on that. So one failure is already there, but I am kind of ignoring that as long as we are holding 5,000, 5,040. But if we close on a weekly basis below 5040, then you are failing on the longer 18-month channel. So let's see how this closes. But for the day, I find the markets difficult to cross 5110, 5120. So that's there.
Okay.
Let's see how it pans out.
Okay, 5120 is remains crucial in that sense.
Yeah, for today's session.
For today's session.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thanks very much, Sarvendra, Ambareesh, for dropping by. Appreciate it. And next week is certainly going to be, a different one. Manish, thanks indeed as well for joining in. Appreciate your thoughts.